Hello Scorpio, Scorpio rising and Scorpio moon people. This is your weekly astrological and tarot forecast for the week starting October 17th, 2016. And of course, just a quick reminder for you guys, remember these weekly astrology horoscopes are definitely focusing more on the energies of the week, aspects of pertinent to this week. If you're interested in broader, more seasonal changes and things like that, you should check out your monthly horoscopes, which I just put up November's actually yesterday, so that's already ready and raring to go in its own special playlist. So, what is going on with the astrology of this week? Well, in the beginning of this week, we do have a full moon in Aries in your 6th house of reputation, schedule, and daily work. And we've also got this forming, I guess you could say, a really tight connection with Uranus, also in this area, in that 6th house of daily work. And Uranus is currently retrograde. And this full moon is talking about a way for you to kind of take advantage of some chaos, which might sound kind of strange, but when Uranus goes retrograde in our routine area, it does kind of diminish a lot of disruptions to our usual routine, our usual workload and things like that. But when a full moon gets on top of it, it's almost like it was never retrograde in the first place, just for a short few days. And this can indicate things getting really out of whack as far as your work life is concerned, as far as you being able to finish your work on time, or maybe even work with people. But on the good side, this would also bring you back to an opportunity to perhaps catch up on some extra money or catch up on some extra work projects that we were not able to accept or fulfill in previous weeks and months, before Uranus went retrograde. So we're doing a bit of catch-up, but we're also doing some big financial catch-ups before the end of the year. On Thursday, we do have a bit of a tough angle. We've got Mars, the planet of action and energy, forming a really tight conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, in your 3rd house of communications. And when Mars and Capricorn come together with Pluto, it's kind of way too much. It's sort of an overkill kind of aspect. Luckily, this kind of thing only comes once every 2 years. And this is a win for you, but there is such a thing as a bad win. Sometimes you can have somebody who's the number one who wins the trophy, and everyone hates them, because they were a jerk about it, or they were completely over the top, or just very not gracious. And unfortunately, Scorpio, this could be you. That's why forewarned is forearmed. That's why horoscopes happen. And so, if you are in the middle of some kind of altercation or some kind of fight, either with a collaborator, a friend, a relative, a rival, this could indicate also perhaps even a power struggle or a big fight with a sibling. Make sure, again, that you do realize that there is a good way to win and a bad way to win in this, and in the negotiation of any contract or obligation you may have with this person, because you can get your way, but we don't want to lose our credibility to get it. So what's going on with your spiritual advice? Well, we do have the card of Isa, or Ice, for this week. And this card is talking all about, again, using a lighter touch, and actually even moving more slowly than normal. And I think that, again, going over what we just spoke about, maybe it's talking about a lighter touch is a little bit better than the heaviest. The Isa card can also indicate appreciation for stillness, the appreciation for pause this week, and it's going to be very important to understand that acting at a moment's notice is not always going to be the best, because a lot of information that's going to come to you this week, whether it's information that you get from friends, from partners, from coworkers, you're going to be getting it almost premature. Like, the situation does not call for proper assessment or even action yet. And why would it if it's not time, if it's not the right time for this yet? We can't actually act on it yet. Let things mature. Let the environment catch up to you this week. Don't try and react as quickly as humanly possible. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and your financial life, we do have the 8 of Pentacles inverted. And then this card can indicate a time where a lot of you Scorpio people are really going to be needing to think about whether or not the work that you do or the work experience you have is enough to advance yourself as it is. Because sometimes the Eight of Pentacles inverted can talk about a need to update our skills, update our skill set, or to try and at least convey the interest or demand to update our skill set, bring something new to the mix. Because the Eight of Pentacles inverted is not necessarily bad for work and for finances, but it's sort of a, I guess you could say a bit of advice for people looking to either move on to a better job or move into a better position, that they're really going to need to diversify their own tool set, their own skill set. The Eight of Pentacles inverted can also indicate a time where some of you may actually even consider looking for new work because the current environment that you're in is not expanding the skill set that you have the way you want to, and that's okay. For your communications with air when it comes to your friends and your relatives, the others in your life, we do have the Eight of Swords upright. And this card can indicate, a fight that goes nowhere, or a situation that goes nowhere with a friend or a relative who is stuck in a very, very cyclical victim kind of state. And whenever a person is in a place where they are, sort of reveling, maybe not reveling, let's say dwelling on being a victim, whether it's being the victim of circumstance, maybe it's a victim of a person, blaming God, their ex, the government, and their mother. The issue that you got to understand with the Eight of Swords is that this person is just clearly not ready for any kind of practical work. So dragging them kicking and screaming is only going to leave them kicking and screaming wherever you drug them. And that might be something to pay attention to know when to call it quits. Now, it's nice to be supportive, but understand when a person is processing or in that form of emotional processing, you can't actually get them to act. We are trying to organize thoughts and emotions at that point in time, not the pragmatic. They're just not in that space. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Hangman upright. Going back to that pause card, okay, with Isa, the Hangman is your challenge, is basically saying, Scorpio, knowing when to take your hands off something, or being hands off, maybe removing yourself for a little bit from a situation that you know is going nowhere. Again, we have a lot of themes talking about the environment needing to catch up with you this week, and this could mean that you've already kind of said your piece, you've already put your pieces in motion. And with the Hangman upright, pushing harder and farther is not actually going to move things along as fast as they possibly can. It can also indicate a need to consider a tactical withdrawal, maybe withdrawing yourself from either a group situation or a work situation that has become too tense or volatile, and you kind of got to let the dust settle before you step back into that room. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the World card inverted. And this card can actually be very sweet, because the World card inverted is talking about second chances and unfinished business. And a lot of this could have to do with, either an old prospect, maybe a former crush, an old love interest, kind of knocking at your door or bumping back into your life, or perhaps even you and your partner going back and finishing up an old era, or picking up an old dream or an old aspiration together. Because the World card reversed is talking about making sure that we understand that we do have some good unfinished business out there every once in a while. It's not all bad unfinished business, and it could actually be a really sweet trip for you and a partner, or you and a crush, to actually go back and find out what that is. Maybe that's what you can do while you take your tactical withdrawal. So that is your forecast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.